National Core Subjects Quiz. This year, the National Core Subjects Quiz is on the theme Public Education, an essential factor for significant impact, growth, and development of Ghana. The third edition of the National Core Subjects Quiz is powered by Verbal Transformers. Our headline sponsor is RMG Ghana Limited, and our gold sponsor is Big Stationery Ghana. For our supporting media partner, we have Hot FM 93.9. For updates on the National Core Subjects Quiz, follow us on all social media platforms. On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on YouTube. Search for the National Core Subjects Quiz, like our pages, follow, and subscribe. You'll be able to get videos, pictures, and any other information that is related to the National Core Subjects Quiz. We are still in the round of 16 stage, and so far, we've had Mystical Rose Academy, New Order Preparatory School, Bediako Memorial Institute, EP Basic School, Greenfield Junior High School, and University Junior High School Cape Coast, qualifying to the quarterfinal stage. Here with me today is Salvation Army School and Star of SUHUM Schools. For Salvation Army School, we met them last year, but they are back this year. So the very first question I have for them is, are you taking the trophy home this year? Yes. Let me ask one more time. Are you taking the trophy home this year?
Sure.
And for Star of SUHUM Schools, they came in this year, right from the preliminary stage. They did very well. That's why they are here with us today for the round of 16 stage. So just as I asked Salvation Army School, Star of SUHUM Schools, are you taking the trophy home this year?
Yes.
Okay. So both schools want to take the trophy home this year, but we want to see the school that will qualify to the next stage of the third edition of the National Core Subjects Quiz. Before we begin, we'll ask our contestants to introduce themselves. I'll begin with Salvation Army School.
My name is Felicia Atia.
I'm Miss Mazoiku.
Thank you very much. And from Star of SUHUM Schools, we have
Juma Prince.
Joseph Demi.
Prince and Joseph. Mankrobi Salvation Army Basic School. What's unique about your school? What makes it stand out? You can decide to pick a student or a teacher from your school to help us to answer this, or you can answer yourself.
Okay, we would like to call our teacher, Sarah.
Sarah.
Thank you very much. Salvation Army School has been around since the 60s, helping to shape the destiny of our future leaders, and will still continue to do that. Thank you.
So Mankrobi Salvation Army Basic School is helping to shape the destinies of our future leaders. Thank you very much for doing that. Star of SUHUM Schools. For the preliminary stage, you told us that the name Star of SUHUM Schools is as a result of your school being the first private school in SUHUM. Am I right? So what makes it stand out? Aside your name, what makes the school unique? What makes it stand out? You can also decide to call a teacher or a student to help you answer, or you can go ahead and answer yourself.
We call him Sir Kelson.
Sir Kelson. Okay.
One thing that makes us stand out tall is the kind of student that we produce year in and out. So anyone who belongs or associates with us as a people turn out to become one of the great giants in society. That is all.
Thank you very much. So Star of SUHUM Schools helps to bring great giants in our society. That's great, thank you. My name is Na Aikaile Tebo, and I will be your quiz mistress. For today's contest, there will be 4 rounds. Round 1 will have questions on English, language, and social studies. Round 2 will have questions on general knowledge. Round 3 will have our swift response and odd select. And our final round, round 4, will have a logical illustration as well as our verbal puzzles. For a major question, contestants, you have 15 seconds to provide an answer. Within the 15 seconds, you have 3 attempts, unless otherwise stated. For a bonus, you have 5 seconds and 1 attempt. I hope that's clear. So we'll begin. Round 1. I'm going to mention an adjective. You have to give me the comparative and the superlative form of the adjective. Mamprobi Salvation Army. Your adjective is faithful.
More faithful and most faithful.
That's right. Star of SUHUM Schools. Your adjective is calm.
More calm, most calm.
I'll give it to you. Aside that, we can have calmer and calmest. Mamprobi Salvation Army. Your adjective is brave.
Braver and bravest.
That's right. Star of SUHUM. Your adjective is delightful.
More delightful, most delightful.
That's correct. Mamprobi Salvation Army. Your major question. The Security Council is an organ of UN. How many members make up the council?
85.
No.
49.
A bonus to Star of SUHUM Schools. The answer is 15 members. 15 members. Star of SUHUM, your question. Which organ of the UN elects the 10 non-permanent members of the Security Council?
The Assembly.
Come again.
General Assembly.
The General Assembly, that's correct. Mamprobi Salvation Army. What is referred to as a positive growth, which includes a qualitative and quantitative improvement in the lives of the people in a particular area?
Development.
Development, that's correct. Star of SUHUM. The act of conforming to the rules and regulations that govern a society is referred to as
Discipline.
discipline, that's correct. This brings us to the end of round 1. At the end of round 1, Mamprobi Salvation Army Basic School had 9 points. And Star of SUHUM Schools had 12 points. with Star of SUHUM schools. You have just one attempt for this question. What would be better at reflecting light? A shiny surface or a dull surface?
Shiny surface.
A shiny surface, that's correct. Mamprobi Salvation Army. If something gets in the way of light, what is formed?
A shadow.
A shadow, that's right. Star of SUHUM. What is the name of the long appendage that hangs from an elephant's face?
Trunk.
Trunk, that's right. Mamprobi Salvation Army. What is the name of the closest star to the Earth?
Approxo Centauri.
No.
The sun.
The sun, that's right. Star of SUHUM. The largest lagoon in Ghana is
Itala.
the Keta Lagoon, that's correct. Mamprobi Salvation Army. The lowest rainfall in Ghana is recorded at
The northern part of Ghana.
no. A bonus to Star of SUHUM schools.
Greater Apparently.
No. Audience, does anyone know the answer? The answer is the Southeast Coastal Plain. This is a preamble to both schools. I'm going to mention a rock that undergoes metamorphosis. You have to tell me the rock that is formed after the process is complete. So Star of SUHUM schools. Your rock is limestone.
Marble.
Marble, that's right. Mamprobi Salvation Army. Your rock is coal.
Slate.
No.
South.
No. You have one more attempt. Okay, you've been well dealt. Star of SUHUM. Audience, can anyone help us out?
Graphite.
Graphite, thank you very much. This brings us to the end of round 2. At the end of round 2, Mamprobi Salvation Army Basic School had 6 points. And Star of SUHUM schools had 12 points. We move on to round 3. Round 3 is in 2 parts. We have the odd, select, and the swift response. We'll begin with the swift response. Contestants, for this you have 10 seconds to provide your answer. And for a bonus, you have 3 seconds. Are we clear? Are we clear? So we begin. This is a preamble to both schools. How many electron shells are occupied by an atom when it has, beginning with Mamprobi Salvation Army, 10 protons and 14 neutrons?
2.
2, that's correct. With the same preamble, Star of SUHUM schools, 14 neutrons and 14 protons.
3.
3, that's right. This is another preamble to both schools. You have to state the charges of the following radicals. The charges of the following radicals. Mamprobi Salvation Army. Ammonium ion.
Negative.
No.
Negative 2.
No.
Negative 4.
No. A bonus to star of SUHUM schools. The charge for the radical ammonium ion is positive 1. With the same preamble. Nitrate ion.
Minus.
No.
Minus 2.
No. A bonus to Mamprobi Salvation Army.
Minus 3.
No. The answer is minus 1. Minus 1. Another preamble to both schools. Please listen. If A equals 5, B equals 2, and C equals 7, you have to find the value of Mamprobi Salvation Army, A squared plus B minus C squared.
Negative 22.
Negative 22. With the same preamble. A squared minus B cubed minus C. No.
10.
A bonus to Mamprobi Salvation Army.
10.
10, that's correct. We move on to the odd select. For this, I'm going to give you a list of words. You have to tell me the odd one out and the reason why it's odd. If you're able to tell me the odd one out and the reason, you have a full mark. However, if you give me just the odd one out, you have 1 point. Mamprobi Salvation Army. These are your words. 7 whole number 2 over 9. 2 whole number 3 over 4. 1 whole number 3 over 2. 6 whole number 1 over 3. A bonus to star of SUHUM schools. The answer is 1 whole number 3 over 2. This is because the others all have whole numbers together with a proper fraction. But for 1 whole number 3 over 2, it has a whole number and an improper fraction. Star of SUHUM, these are your words. Soil particles, mineral salts, humus, water.
Humus. Is an organic part of the soil.
That's correct. This brings us to the end of round 3. At the end of round 3, Star of SUHUM schools had 6 points. And Mamprobi Salvation Army Basic School had 7 points. We move on to round 4, the final round. This round is in 2 parts. We have a logical illustration and a verbal puzzles. We'll begin with the logical illustration. Contestants, for this, I'm going to read out the illustration for today. You are not supposed to start until I ask you to. And you have 5 minutes. Also, you've been given a sheet of paper each. You have to solve and provide your solution on the paper you've been given. You have to provide your solution on the paper you've been given. So please come for today's illustration. A logical illustration for today. The area of a square ABCD is 4 centimeters squared. And the area of A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime is 9 centimeters squared. Find the scale factor of the enlargement. 2. For each of the following statements, provide the appropriate cultural practice. A. Helps the development of roots in vegetables. B. Keeps plants well spaced. And C. Keeps fruits clean at harvest. Are we on the same page, contestants? Do we have the same thing? You may begin. You have 5 minutes. Participants, you have a minute more. Participants, please hand in your answers. Participants, please provide your answers on the board, just as you have it on paper. For today's logical illustration, this is my solution. To find the scale factor of the enlargement, our scale factor equals the image distance over the object distance. Our image distance will be the length of the square A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. And our object distance will be the length of the square A, B, C, D. So to find the length of the square A, B, C, D, we first of all need to use the area. So our area equals length times the length. And the area of the square ABCD is 4 centimeters squared. So finding the square root of 4, our length for the square ABCD becomes 2 centimeters. To find the length of the square A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, we'll have the area of the square, that's 9 centimeters squared, to be equal to length times length, or L squared. So finding the square root of 9, we have 3 centimeters. Therefore, our length is 3 centimeters. As I stated earlier, scale factor equals the image distance over the object distance. And our image distance is 3 centimeters or 3, and our object distance is 2. So our scale factor becomes 3 over 2, or one whole number 1 over 2. The appropriate cultural practice that helps the development of roots in vegetables is earthing up. And The cultural practice that keeps plants well spaced is thinning. And the cultural practice that keeps fruits clean at harvest is staking. Star of SUHUM schools. They began by finding the scale factor. So they began with the first part of the question. They tell us that the scale factor equals image over object. And they have 9 centimeters square over 4 centimeters square. Their final answer is 2.25, which is incorrect. So for the first part of the question, they have no points. For the second part of the question, they are able to give us the right cultural practices for the three statements we have. So for the first one, they tell us it's earthing up, the second one is thinning out, and the third one, staking. So for that, they have 3 points. In total, Star of SUHUM schools has 3 points. Salvation Army Basic School. They also begin with the first part of the question. So they tell us that the scale factor equals the area of A prime, B prime, C prime, and D, all divided by the area of A, B, C, D. This gives them 9 centimeters square over 4 centimeters square, and their final answer is also 2.25 centimeters. This is also incorrect. So for that part of the question, they also score no points. For the second part of the question, where they are to provide the appropriate cultural practices, they tell us that it helps the development of roots and in vegetables. They have mulching, which is incorrect, and it keeps plants well spaced. They have transplanting, which is also incorrect, and it keeps fruits clean at harvest. They have watering. That's also incorrect. So for that part of the question, they have no points. In total, Salvation Army Basic School has no points. We move on to the final part of round 4. Our verbal puzzles. Contestants, for this, you need your bell. I'll read out a set of clues. If you are ready to give an answer, you need to alert me by pressing your bell. So can we hear the bell for Mamprobi Salvation Army Basic School? And for Star of SUHUM schools? Okay. So if you get the answer right on the first clue, you have 5 points. On the second clue, you have 4 points. And on the third and any other clue, you have 3 points. If you press your bell and the answer you give me is incorrect, you're out. You can't answer anymore for that particular verbal puzzle. Are we clear, contestants? So we begin. I have jaws, but no teeth. As non-living as I am significantly used by scientists or engineers. In the field of measurement, I accurately measure to the nearest 0.01 millimeter. I have a sleeve, thimble, and ratchet as parts of me. Yes.
Micrometer screw gauge.
Micrometer screw gauge. So the answer after the third clue, they have 3 points. I'll read out the rest of the clues. The measurement of small lengths or the thickness of a sheet of metal cannot be carried out without me. I also measure the diameter of a wire, and I am the micrometer screw gauge. The next verbal puzzle. More often than not, I am within a limited area. I come about as a result of the forces of tectonics. I am also the result of volcanism. I am a large landform that rises high above its surrounding land. Yes.
Mountains.
A mountain, that's right. The answer after the third clue, they have 3 points. There was one more clue left. I'll read it when we proceed. I'm steeper than a hill, and I am a mountain. The final verbal puzzle. Giacomo da Lentini is credited with my invention. Thus, I originated from Italy. My name was derived from an Italian word, which means little song. Amongst my colleagues, I am very particular about the form in which I am to be produced. You can write me in the Shakespearean way or the Petrarchan way. For your poem to qualify to come under my name, there has to be a strict rhyme scheme. Also, I have to be made up of 14 lines. What am I? Okay, so our contestants don't have an answer. Audience, does anyone know? What am I?
It's a sonnet.
It's a sonnet. Thank you very much. This brings us to the end of round 4. The third edition of the National Core Subjects Quiz is powered by Verbal Transformers. Our headline sponsor is RMG Ghana Limited, and our gold sponsor is Big Stationery Ghana. Our supporting media partner is Hot FM 93.9. At the end of round 4, Mamprobi Salvation Army Basic School had no points. And Star of SUHUM Schools had 13. And Star of SUHUM Schools had 9 points. Before we hear the final score for today, we'd like to hear from our contestants. So, Prince Joseph, your final words for us today.
It's a great competition.
Okay. Let's hear from Mamprobi Salvation Army Basic School.
I think we tried our best.
Did you hear her? Yes. Bismarck, anything you have to tell us?
Well, we did our best, and the competition was amazing.
Thank you very much. So at the end of today's contest, Mamprobi Salvation Army Basic Schools had 22 points. And Star of SUHUM Schools qualifies to the quarterfinal stage with 39 points. Congratulations to both schools, you've all done very well. To Salvation Army Basic School Mamprobi, we are glad you are here with us today and this year. We hope to see you again next year. I believe you're in your final year, so all the best in the BEC. And to Star of SUHUM Schools, thank you very much for coming. And congratulations, we'll see you at the quarterfinal stage of the 3rd edition of the National Subjects Quiz. My name is Na Aikaile Tebo, and I have been your quiz mistress. Thank you.